camera speed, and we are rolling.
We are live.
Welcome back to Team Fortress 2 Days on Day Games. We are live.
You tell how tired we are? We've done 3 of these in a row.
Yeah, literally back to back. It's like almost 10. It's almost 11 for you.
Yeah.
But we're doing it. We're still doing it.
I could be playing Helldivers.
Hello and welcome back to the Double Dip Draft, Season 7, Violent Division, Week 4 Recap. I am your host, Spood, coach of the Southtown Sandslashers, and joining me once again
is White Loaf, coach of the Loafville Lanterns.
Whoa! Now it is the middle of the season. Can you believe it? Hasn't it felt like the longest 4 weeks of your fucking life?
Actually, it's weirdly felt like an hour, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I don't know. For me, it's been excruciating. So
yeah, no,
you're having a good time.
No, it's look. This has not been my best season.
Yeah. Well.
At least in terms of time management.
Hey, we're getting there. Week 4. We are finally seeing people over the hump. You know, you can have your top placing contenders, which I guess right now is only IDM, who hasn't taken a loss as of week 3. You know, IDM could get his 4th win and all but secure his playoffs position. You could see some people starting to claw their way back from like a lower diff, or, you know, you could start seeing some actual shifts in the landscape of who is looking good for playoffs. There's a lot of, a lot of interesting fights, we'll say, for this week. Not a lot of stuff you can necessarily throw away. A lot of do or die, but not a lot of, like, fighting amongst peers, if that makes sense. You kind of ended up getting 4, basically top end 4 paired off against low end 4 goes roughly how you'd expect. So, important games, but not necessarily unexpected games.
Yeah. I think we are underplaying it a little bit. Well, it does go kind of how you'd expect, in the grand scheme of things. There are some interesting matches this week.
There is important stuff to see, and I think we'll go ahead and focus our attention on the very first match. We have got Aurora, coach of the Hoensbroek Haunters, versus Milo, coach of the Canadian Cottonees. Milo on a pretty good run. I mean, again, Milo only has 1 win as of right now, having lost now to Mass and IDM. But, fighting Aurora, like, again, tough block of matches right now. He really, really wanted that Mass win. Not getting it has been pretty devastating. But, IDM and Aurora, like, those are your comfort losses. You can take those, and obviously you want to try and you want to keep it close if you can. But right now, again, if we're looking strictly at the numbers, not a match that's going to put Milo in a stellar numerical position if he loses.
Yeah. If he wins, though, then, it's great. But
that's true.
Yeah.
Conversely, Aurora doing pretty well for herself right now. I mean, she's just taken her first loss to IDM. Not a thrilling thing for her to have happen, but, like, at least it's over with. That's one that you kind of, at least by seed, you expect that you'll probably lose it. You've already beaten Claire, who is your other hardest opponent, like, theoretically in the division. So, again, if we're talking just based on seeding, like, from now on, Aurora's got a pretty easy ride to playoffs. She just has to not get upset.
Yep.
But Milo, again, Milo taking Cabral out, like, it's not impossible that he can pull something off with Aurora.
Milo is, while he is a newer player, he is, that in a way of itself is a scarier thing, honestly. Yeah. Like, you go up against IDM 100 times, like, whatever, I know this shit, I know what he's gonna do, I know he's just gonna, wipe the floor with me and then get it done with,
he's
whatever.
He's gonna put up fucking screens and just set up behind them, like, that's what IDM's gonna do to you.
Yeah, but you go up against a new player, and it's like, I don't know what this person does. I don't know what this person's gonna fucking do to me.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll take my arm off. Maybe they'll take my teeth out and shoot them in my eyeballs or something. I don't know.
You never know. And Milo bringing kind of a tricky, Malamar is a weird, goofy, niche Pokemon that can pull some tricks. Milo also has packed, like, the anti-Dondozo squad with Alolan Raichu, Regieleki, and Freeze-Dry Kyurem on deck, ready to fight that thing.
Yeah.
He has no doubt seen the grief that Dondozo has caused other players and has come armed to the teeth to prevent Dondozo from being an issue.
I have unfortunately also seen the grief that Dondozo gives to players.
Yeah, Dondozo firsthand. Yikes. But I mean, looking at Aurora's team, like Valiant is so good, you know, especially when Skeledirge is out of the picture and ideally Regieleki. Valiant goes absolutely bonkers nuts. Hydrapple's a really good switch into Regieleki and to Alolan Raichu. You know, as always, like, the Iron Treads is just going to be such a fantastic Pokemon. Regirock with Terra is always scary. Dodrio is kind of an interesting pickup, but we see actually why she brought it, and it actually does work to fairly good effect at doing the thing she wants it to do.
Yeah. No Pincurchin this time around, but, you know, makes sense. You don't want to give Alolan Raichu that speed, and you don't want to make Regieleki hit even harder.
Yeah, there's just really, you know, when you can get the same benefit by just throwing a booster energy or just playing with, like, a choice item, you might as well not give something that is really I mean, you know, Alolan Raichu can bully, like, not only Dondozo, but, you know, it can surf into Iron Treads, it can, you know, it can Psychic into Iron Valiant. It can actually be quite a problem, and if you have some kind of speed control on your team, like if you're Star Valiant or something, or, like, you know, you're relying on, like, Rapid Spin, Iron Treads to get fast, giving that thing terrain makes it so damn fast. It gets, like, oh, I don't know, like 700 or something like that, like, just immediately.
It's a ridiculous speed. Yeah.
So, really, really quite good on Milo's end, you know, as far as, like, you know, it theoretically, like, it would be good on Milo's end if she brought Pincurchin. So, very wisely, I think, on Aurora's part, she left that thing out to dry. And I think, really, they both probably brought the best squad that they could have into the matchup. So let's see if the brains are evenly matched in play.
Yep.
And this is what we were talking about. Dodrio lead is to beat the Araquanid lead, which has been coming pretty much every week. So, smart for Aurora to do that. Also very smart for Milo to just, you know, endure for the Custap Berry. Like, yeah, if you were Sash, it'd be one thing, but you're not, so you'd just be slower and die. But if you endure and Custap Berry, you know, Sticky Web, then it does go up. So, Aurora, not really excited about the Sticky Web, and trying to play in a way that would keep it from going up.
Yep. Milo doing something a little risky here, you know, getting +2 with Contrary, you know, unaware, but skill swap.
Yep.
Unfortunately, a little late, but, you know, we were definitely cooking. Oh, wait, no, not late, sorry. Forgot fake Sash.
Yep.
A little hard to see from my point of view, but
not
yeah, no.
Yeah, but not as much value as Milo was hoping.
Yeah. Still very fun, though.
Yeah.
I do respect the surf. You know, I personally think maybe it's best to go ahead and just try and do like a Volt Switch or something.
I don't know.
Thinking head grapple.
You want to keep those webs up, and you want to keep that treads from coming in. So, like, I like the surf.
No, I agree. Like, again, it makes a lot of sense.
And I love how aware they both are of the importance of these webs. Like, Aurora is desperately trying to get rid of them because she knows they're an issue. Milo is desperately trying to keep them up because he knows they're an issue for her.
Yep. Goes for the burn.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, unaware does work a little bit of a different way here when it comes to stat drops. You know, well, not a different way. It works the exact same way.
Yeah. Means that your Draco Meteor is never going to get less powerful into another Pokemon.
Honestly, I will gladly take that.
Yep.
Does get a good slack off though, so, you know, at the same time, like, we are sitting kind of comfy. Huge burn, meaning we're getting to live the Earthquake.
Yep. Another slack off puts this thing out of range of the Brave Bird, so, like, Milo's actually playing really good.
Yeah. I think the only unfortunate part now is now that Dodrio's dead, it does invite in Valiant, which even with webs, like, Skeledirge is not going to be outspeeding this thing anytime soon.
And now, I mean,
but you know what will be outspeeding it?
Hero Web's so scary in this end game. And again, that's why Aurora wants to spin those webs away. And now that Milo's spin blocker is dead, that's a lot more on the table.
Yeah.
And at this point, Aurora is aware of that as an issue. But you know what? Milo fucking Dragon Dances. Like, again, showing this really, really good awareness of, like, what the win con is. Is able to outspeed, you know, no webs, but now you don't need the webs because you outspeed everything, except Valiant is running Vacuum Wave. And so Milo's dreams are dashed.
Yep.
This is still potentially doable if you just explode on the Hydrapple and then you're, you know, you just go nuts with your Alolan Raichu. But unfortunately, Milo does not recognize the necessary, like, game pieces for the end game, and loses the Alolan Raichu, and now Regieleki is stuck in front of a Hydrapple will never be able to kill, and boom. Decides to get one last lick in, just so that he can keep the diff as tight as possible, which I think was definitely the right call. So really unfortunate. I think a little bit of adjustment from Milo at the end game there could have won in that game. I think he played that, like 90% of that game, he played just so tight. Like the positioning game on that around the web, on both sides too, because again, like, all of the attempts to like preserve the web are running counter to Aurora's attempts to get rid of the web because they both know is an issue. And I just love that. I loved seeing, like, this was, I thought, high level, good, interesting, well thought out play from two players, and I love that.
No, I agree. Both players played like extremely well. Like, there were a lot of moments where like Aurora was kind of on a back foot, but like, even on the back foot, like she was still playing like really well. She wasn't letting it get to her.
Yep.
And vice versa. Like Milo was very good at just like keeping the pressure on, not letting her get rid of webs, or at least not letting her get rid of them fast enough. And just keeping her guessing.
Yeah. And I mean, it again, like, he didn't win. Like, Aurora did just ultimately outplay Milo, and that is, we don't want to gloss over that. Like, Aurora's obviously so goated and amazing at the game.
Oh, yeah.
Milo really turned the gas up, and Aurora was able to meet that energy and outplay anyway. So she deserves, like, huge kudos for that. But
yeah,
again, just to celebrate Milo a little bit, like 1-0 loss to IDM, which, was just kind of an RNG thing at the end, if we're being real. Barely losing to Aurora, even going as far as to blow up his Regieleki to make the diff one tighter. Like, Milo is really got his head in the game.
Yeah, like zero shade to Aurora, but like, we expect her to play good. Milo, newcomer. We don't know Milo. Like he played one other season before.
This is the most impressed I've ever been with a 1-3 record. This is still someone who has yet to fight Woody. This is somebody who still has like other people in their skill bracket to play. You've still got to fight like Jason. You've still got to fight Claire. Your worst matches are already now out of the way, and even though you lost them by a tight enough margin that I think your diff is going to look pretty good as long as you can get that 60 on Woody. Yeah. So, really cool. I thought that's probably one of my favorite matches, if not my favorite match of the season, just all the way down. I really, really liked it. It was a lot of fun to watch. Good job. Good job for putting on a good show.
I still just, I dream at night about week 2 of fucking Milo versus IDM where he just doesn't miss.
Yeah, well, we do not live in that world. Unfortunately, we do not live in that world. Well, fortunately, if you're IDM, I'm sure he's popping bottles and he's quite happy with his road to playoffs. Good shit, IDM.
Big IDM.
All right, speaking of Woody, hey, we talked about Woody a little bit. Why don't you introduce our fun players, huh?
Yeah, well, we got Woody, of course, first with the Schaumburg Salamences. And then we've got Cabral 095 of the Slinging Aegislashers. This is Cabral's match against Woody. He definitely wants the 6-0. He definitely wants that differential right now. Currently sitting at a -6, so definitely looking to not only get that win, but also, get those numbers up a little bit.
Yeah. After beating Jason, he's now sitting at a 1-2, and if he beats Woody, he's back to 2-2. And if he can 6-0 Woody, he's dead even 2-2, 0 differential.
Like nothing even happened.
Yeah, which is really great, because given that he was in last place at the end of week 2, this is really, this is where he wants to be if he can make it happen. And, again, unfortunately, like, we talk about this a lot, we're beating a dead horse. You have to 6-0 Woody, and that was the case last season, and now that Woody's been 6-0 2 out of the 3 games he's played already, you have to do it, or you're behind. You don't want to lose that 6 diff to Claire, you don't want to lose that 6 diff to Jason. You just got to make it happen. And, Cabral's got plans. Cabral's definitely got plans.
Yep, they're kind of hiding a little bit, but we've got Vaporeon sitting right there.
Yeah, getting a little Wazowski'd by the Metagross in the team review.
Yep. We've got Diancie again. We have Galarian Zapdos, which, is always a very fun Pokemon to see.
Love Galarian Zapdos. I used it last season. I thought it was a lot of fun. A really good Pokemon.
Yeah. And we've seen Cabral actually put in some pretty serious work with Leavanny. And Gliscor is also always, it's Gliscor.
It has the
Always a
top
good
tier,
Pokemon.
like, S tier problem of, like, people are always going to prep for it, especially when it has such a pronounced weakness to ice. But, it's, it's Woody. It's Cabral versus Woody. He's going to have a gimmicky plan to try and 6-0 as quickly as possible, and I want to see how it goes.
Yep. So, leading off with the Vaporeon, Lycanroc does not like the lead, and Vaporeon going for the Acid Armor, and then Terra Ground.
Terra Ground on the expected Thunder Wave. Woody, not aware of Water Absorb, gives Cabral another free turn to set up, and now it's already +4 defense, +1 special defense, +2 special defense, +2 special attack. This Ice Beam one-shots, and, you're going to be like, is that the slowest Haxorus of all time? But it probably Dragon Tails.
Yeah, no, most likely a quick Dragon Tail.
When he comes back in and scalds again into the Water Absorb, thinking that, like, Mold Breaker wipes away your ability when you come in, but that's not how it works.
Hey, yo, actually, wait, that'd be sick. Game Freak, take notes.
Take notes, yeah, what do you think about that? But Woody is playing to his outs and finds the freeze.
Yep. Now, freeze,
skills,
this isn't Gen 1 freeze, so, surely, like, it's gonna unthaw eventually, and then just kill out Lycanroc, and, any moment now, probably the next turn.
No, I mean, because it happens, right? Like, some freezes go for a little while, but, like, you do break out. Woody is not spending these turns particularly well. He's trying to find, like, crunch defense drop. This Vaporeon is still frozen.
He's a little chilly.
He's really cold.
Yep. Still frozen.
Still frozen, hey.
I'm gonna
Hey!
Oh man, Bananas isn't in this game.
This is yeah, that's true.
Hey.
Okay, hey, woke up after 10 turns of being frozen. And then Breloom comes out and crits it with a Seed Bomb, so it doesn't even matter.
This game sucks. I hate this game.
So dumb. So that's Cabral 6-0 yanked away from him by, just pure, act of God.
Yeah. Goes through the dual Wing Beat. Pretty high. Well, not the highest of risk, but, still pretty high risk.
You can miss it, yeah.
Yeah. And then going for another one. Pretty good roll as well there on the Lantern.
21 to 23, like that was a weird roll.
Yeah.
Barely
lives here.
So, it's you could have seen this go pretty differently too.
Yep.
That dual Wing Beat was not necessary. You should have straight quick there.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Begging to miss at that point.
But I respect it.
I respect it too. Earthquake is 2-hit KO.
Yep. So, is able to secure the 5-0, but still, I know Cabral is definitely, like, kicking himself a little bit, like, fucking crit.
Yep, that Breloom crit, stopping the Vaporeon sweep, really annoying for sure. You don't love it. You don't love the 10 turns of freeze into the back-to-back crit. Like, you get one that doesn't matter, then he gets one that kills your sweeper.
Yep.
Cabral was forced to improvise with something else to get the 5-0, and he did find it, so that's good. But, could have been slightly better. At any rate, 5-0, 6-0, potato, like...
Still good.
Still fine. You can make that work, especially, again, it's not a 2-0, right? Like, we're not talking Masses 2-0 into Woody. This is still acceptable. So, yeah, weird game. Weird, goofy, silly game that we play.
Yep. But that is Cabral versus Woody. Why don't you tell me a little bit about our next competitors?
Oh, I'd be right happy to. Well, we've got IDM of the Brussels Espeons versus Jason of the Hartford Honchkrows. IDM currently sitting at 3-0. Jason, having gotten his one win on Woody, has not been able to find a win elsewhere yet. And, an upset on IDM would be a great place to start if you want to, climb out of the hole, because you were looking pretty good at week 1, but he's only been slipping further and further down the rankings since then.
Yeah, but wait a second. Spoot, is that... Do my eyes deceive me?
Well, hold on.
Is that the double dip themselves?
That is Suelas! That is the double dip draft mascot! One of our favorite little goobers. I love the idle animation, just the chomping. I don't know. I love Suelas so much. Jason has brought his Suelas. He's brought Carbink as well. Among his other like top tier Pokemon, Zapdos, King Gambit. King Gambit's gonna come to every single game. Let's just be completely real. There's no game where it's not gonna be an asset.
Yeah, like if King Gambit does not come, like it will probably be against like Woody as like a meme.
Yeah.
Or he'll do something even dumber. Or he'll do something even dumber, he'll bring like Specs King Gambit or something.
Yeah, which would be fire. I think I did see a Joey and MV video about that, or maybe it was Blunder, I forget. But someone did Specs King Gambit recently, and it was dumb.
Yeah.
Did you know Specs King Gambit Grass Knot does one-shot Great Tusk?
That's funny, actually. I like that.
Anyway, yeah, Jason got
a
very interesting team. IDM bringing pretty similar to what we've been seeing as we go. Shiftry, another Pokemon like Brambleghast we talked about last week. That's a Wind Rider Pokemon into Zapdos, which is generally speaking running Hurricane and Heat Wave. Now, Shiftry has to be a little more careful because it is quad weak to U-turn, which Zapdos also likes to run. But
yeah,
otherwise, it could be like a Volt Switch set. Could maybe not even have Pivot. I don't know.
Yeah, I find usually they run Volt Switch but I do also think that Shiftry is overall a better user of Wind Rider.
I agree.
Just because like knockoff is much more spammable.
Yeah, like setting up your own Tailwind actually positions you way better if you have a Shiftry that can actually do damage.
Yeah. We do see a Pokemon that we haven't yet seen IDM bring, which is Sandaconda. I'm a huge Sandaconda connoisseur. This is the Pokemon that IDM did snipe for me. I'm not that upset about it.
Not mad.
Yeah, I'm not that mad. It's fine. Yeah, just a little sad about it.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be my rocker, but whatever. It's fine. I have Glamora still. It's whatever. But no, Sandaconda, having Shed Skin, and then Coil is just a really cool combination for this Pokemon. Being able to rest up. It did also get Scale Shot this generation, which I don't know if you've seen, but on the lower ladder, Arbok actually likes to do the same thing. It likes to do Shed Skin up, run Scale Shot to boost its speed, and then usually run like Terra Dragon or something even to like increase that and mitigate the ground weakness it has.
That's interesting. I don't know a lot about that kind of stuff, but it makes sense. And I mean, it looks good on Sandaconda, like a Coil user. Even Orthworm and other things where you think, okay, well, whatever, it's like Shed Tail, and that's just the Pokemon, like Iron Defense, Body Press. Like, Coil is a move that by itself can turn a Pokemon kind of amazing from mid to oh, this is winning a game in one turn, Sandaconda definitely does not mind having that as an option.
Yeah, especially because you see it and it's like, okay, Earthquake, that sucks. I'm just gonna bring in my flying Pokemon. Oh wait, now Stone Edge is much more accurate.
Yeah. So, gonna be some interesting things at play here. I think Jason's got some hypothetical tools like Zapdos played correctly could cause problems. Raikou obviously hurts Toxapex a lot. King Gambit can get in the mix and can cause trouble for a lot of different things. So let's just see how it goes.
So leading with the Shiftry.
Yeah, just ready to put it all on the line.
Yep. The Sunny Day is
Day.
Very interesting.
Now I know IDM is ready for this thing to try and go for a Heat Wave. But Jason's running Weather Ball, which not blocked by Wind Rider.
Yep. You do love to see it.
Yep. And that I agree with IDM. That would have been quite funny.
Yeah. Trying to get the paralysis on Primarina. I definitely respect that. Unfortunately, it does not come out though. Raikou loves to sit on Toxapex.
Yep. Oh, out comes the Dwellis. Reflect is
a
bad.
man.
Immediately misses an outrage because of hustle, but then it immediately gets a blunder policy. So that's like, oh, hold on a second.
This
And
says
then
fire.
He goes for the thief and he gets the AV. Now that he's
This set
using
is so fire.
It's so good. Terra Fairy Terra Blast does not quite kill, but it actually eats that Moonblast because, again, it has the AV now.
Yep, and the poison does wind up killing.
Intimidate brings this like low enough that he doesn't necessarily want to let Salamences start setting up Dragon Dances for free or proc a weakness policy or something. So I get why he switched out, but I also think maybe just going for the damage would have been better because he's lost a lot of positioning now.
Yeah, no, I think going for the chip would have been nice, especially because, like, I think at that point, like, Dazzling Gleam probably would have killed here.
Yep. And this is a misplay on Jason's part to go into this when the Sucker Punch doesn't kill because of the Reflect, but then he crits anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yep. Funny game.
Yep. Funny game. And IDM, ensuring that doesn't happen, does the classic IDM and puts up another screen.
Yep.
But my God, this another one. Dude, Bisharp, or not Bisharp, what is it? King Gambit does so much damage.
Yeah, I mean, Bisharp also does a lot of damage. It's just King Gambit does even more.
That's true. That's actually 22.
Yeah, but with a coil up, like, you know, it doesn't matter here. Earthquake, you know, I do think that sacking King Gambit does kind of suck, but at the same time, like, I don't know.
Yeah, and this Shed Skin is not activating. He goes for the scale shot trying to read the switch into Zapdos, which I do like, but, you know, he should have just gone for the Protect there again, actually.
Yeah, definitely would have gone a little bit lower and then could have potentially lived another scale shot if he didn't, if IDM didn't get 3. And although maybe he's running loaded dice, I don't know.
Shed Skin does not proc at all.
Yeah.
Not a single time, which is pretty unfortunate for IDM. But, I mean, blink and you'll miss it. This just became a 2-0 victory for IDM over Jason, which, again, like, another pretty narrow margin for a win.
Yeah, like, you know, IDM might be winning all of his matches, but, like, he's winning them by the skin of his teeth. Like, I think there's only one where he got, like, a pretty, like, high...
He did 5-0 Aurora, so, I mean,
yeah, that is the only one.
I think his week 1 also went fairly well. I don't remember exactly who he fought.
Let me see.
But while you're looking into that, no, I mean, Jason brought some absolute heat. I love that Zweilous set. And it worked, like, way better than it had any right to. The fact that he immediately missed the outrage. Oh, he fought Mass. I assume he beat Mass by a pretty healthy amount.
It was a 3-0.
Okay, so that's a decent. I mean, it's not, like, amazing, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, he could be winning these by greater margins ideally, but still, I mean, if you're 4-0, like, that's fine. Who cares about the diff, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, like, as long as you're winning, like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, the bigger, better, more important number is the W number, and IDM's W number is quite high, higher than anyone else in the division. At a clean 4-0, undefeated going into the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, wee woo, huh? Isn't that crazy?
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Well, we got one more match, and I'd love it if you'd tell me who they are.
Our next match is Mass of the... Why can't I never remember? Treasure Town Togetics.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. People need to stop changing their names. It confuses me.
I know.
My brain's not wrinkly enough to remember all these anymore.
Messed up.
Yep. And then Claire of the Maryland Manectrics.
Yeah. Claire doing quite well. I mean, off of, I think back-to-back 6-0s, if I'm not mistaken. No, wait, I just spoiled. This is a 6-0. Oops.
Oops. Well,
I didn't say that. Hey,
hey, editor.
editor, cut that out, but for real this time. Actually do that. Editor, huh?
Here, you know what? Retake.
All right, retake time. Hey, I would love it if you'd introduce to me this next game.
Our next game is Treasure Town Togetics Mass versus Claire of Maryland Manectrics.
Yeah. Interesting.
Claire, Claire, I feel has been kind of finally getting into terms with her team. Finally starting to settle in a little bit more. Doing quite well against Woody last week, getting the 6-0. And I think this is another match where, like, she feels pretty confident in her ability to be able to set up with. I mean, literally, look at a Pokemon, pick it out, and then you tell me which one.
Yeah,
I feel the only one that doesn't love setting up is probably Conkeldurr.
Well, Wo-Chen, I mean, doesn't really set up either. I mean, Conkeldurr at least gets bulk up and like Drain Punch.
Yeah. I mean, Wo-Chen, Wo-Chen does set up. It just does it in a different way. It doesn't boost its stats or anything like that.
That's not setting up. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it gets cozy.
It does get cozy. I mean, I'd agree with that. I mean, Claire looking really good off of the Woody 6-0, but that's a Woody 6-0, right? Like, getting that, it's not necessarily, like, the expectation, but it's a good benchmark, and she did manage to hit it.
Yeah.
She definitely would like to pull ahead if she can, if she can carry that 6-0 energy into this match too, maybe beat Mass by, like, 3, 4, 5, 6-0. That would be really good for her, because her diff it's a little bit called into question. Most people don't have their Woody wins yet, so it's kind of hard to place yourself in the division against everybody else who, again, IDM and Aurora have not fought Woody yet. So that is still something where, like, they will probably get 6 diff each, so you really want to make sure you don't fall behind.
Yeah.
Mass, his diff is hella low. His win-loss is fairly decent. He's 2-1 going into this. He's picked up wins on Woody and Milo, and the Milo win is actually a pretty valuable one, especially given how Milo's season's going so far.
Yeah.
But he has not been winning them by much. He's been keeping it very, very close. And
yeah.
Going into this fight with Claire, I mean, if you can keep that win-loss going, that's great, but if you happen to lose, make sure you lose close, because your wins have been way too thin to lose by a lot.
Oh, yeah.
At any rate, I mean, looking at this team, finally, setting up on Woody, sure, whatever, classic. Setting up on Mass, I mean, I don't see a Haze user necessarily. I mean, I think Muck gets Haze, but, otherwise, Haze users aren't that common here. We're not seeing Unaware. It seems like a team that, with the right positioning, it's not free, but Claire could definitely start setting up maybe some Dragon Dances, or some Amnesia, like Iron Defense Body Press stuff on Registeel, or maybe even some Bulk Ups or Nasty Plots. There's plenty of stuff that Claire can do here, and I think Mass's team, despite being like a really good, solid all-rounder, doesn't have like the most consistent answers to getting setup swept by like 5 different Pokemon.
And one thing that to mention this, just because this is one of the few things that Skarmory does have over Corviknight. Skarmory does get Whirlwind, Corviknight does not. So you can't even phase out something that's set up in front of you. Muck, I want to say gets Haze, but if it doesn't, it definitely gets Clear Schmog, which, isn't going to do anything to Registeel, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, unless it Terras, which it did Terra last game, so...
That's true.
Not an impossibility. But I mean, just in general, still, we're down talking Mass's team a little bit. I think it's a fantastic team. Enamorus looks good into most of these Pokemon. Dragapult, even. I mean, as long as Dragapult's alive, unless you have like a booster energy speed or a scarf on your gouging fire. I mean, that thing is in huge danger from obviously strong, Dragon Darts or Draco Meteor.
Yeah, and I think because Dragon Dart is not technically contact, I don't think Burning Bulwark will even affect it.
Yeah, Burning Bulwark, very strange move, but you do have to consider things about contact and the mechanics regarding contact moves. So a Grass Knot will burn you, but a Dragon Darts won't. So
yeah,
a lot of interesting things.
Grass Knot is contact.
So dumb, strange. It's just arbitrary. As far as I'm concerned, it's very weird.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're done beating around the bush. I would like to see who managed to prevail and where the season is gonna look.
Yeah. And
right there, Matt's immediately off to a fantastic lead. And Matt continues clicking the right button. They're U-turning, doing 2/3 of Wo-Chen's health immediately.
Yeah, huge U-turn. Does go for the Protect just to scout out. Very solid play.
Yep.
But here, at this point, you have to know that the Terra is coming.
Yep. Because, I mean, her Terra options are just this and Registeel. So, maybe you're scared of Registeel Terra in the future, but this feels like a pretty obvious pick.
Yeah. Going for rocks at this point, and, again, it's just...
just a matter of a couple of turns, this thing went from being at 30% to 86.
Yep.
You know, it didn't use recover or anything. It's just, you know, some well-placed leech seeds. And now Claire is in the driver's seat, and she stays there. That Thunder Wave, you know, she recovers the rocks damage with an immediate Volt Absorb into a predicted Thunder attack, or like an electric attack. And then she immediately goes for the mid-ground Grass Knot to catch this, and now Mass is playing on the back foot.
Yep.
So he started off quite strong, but now it's rough.
Yeah, this is now a huge, huge loss for Mass right now. You know, trying to get some kind of momentum, you know, getting pressure up to, you know, maybe get a little bit of PP stall on here, but at the same time, like, Claire has plenty of move pool to use, you know, good amount protects, good amount of knockoffs. It's going to be a while.
Yeah, and Leech Seed is going to be so problematic, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the end of the day, who cares if Synthesis got nerfed or fucking Recover? I can just Leech Seed, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I got 16 of those.
Yeah.
But Claire does reposition. She doesn't want to play the PP Stall War, at least not yet. She does make some time to go out and get her rocks defogged so that her Thunderous can switch in more freely. And it immediately pays dividends because she kills that Rotom and forces out the Corviknight.
Yep.
But Wo Chen is really bulky. I mean, this thing is taking physical hits like nobody's business, and this muck has nothing to hit it. And these Leech Seeds are just giving back so much HP. And Wo Chen is just reacting over there.
Yep. It is indeed reacting. Now it does get a good switch on the Terra Blast into Dragapult. Obstacle for U-turn. You know, part of me gets it, but at the same time, Wo Chen has been more than happy to just sit here. I think if there is a time to click Phantom Force, that was the time.
Yeah, I think so too. Because Phantom Force does actually bypass Protect as well.
Yeah.
And now Claire, again, you know, she's in a position where, like, you know, that thing's not boosted. It, like, Calm Mind is just going.
Yep.
And there's the Phantom Force. Claire is like, I gotta get the hell out of here. Goes into Wo Chen, and Wo Chen takes 37. So now it is in range because he knocked the leftovers earlier. Mass goes to the Dragon Darts, and now suddenly, I mean, Mass is like swinging momentum back in his favor. Obviously, Reg Steel is a hard thing to break, but, you know, if you play this right, you might be able to deal. Unfortunately, Claire does predict that this thing's coming out and not the Corviknight, and so goes for an early Amnesia. And Mass kind of turns his brain off just to try and get a little bit of damage for a lot of damage on his Enamorous. You know, Claire has got no reason not to just like Heavy Slam or Body Press into everything. Corviknight's a problem. Mass goes for a really crappy Haze there. He does reveal that he has it, but like it doesn't actually do anything because this is faster, so it can just Amnesia again.
Yeah, and going for knockoff there. I mean, again, I get it, but at that point, you definitely should have Drain Punched.
Yeah. And I mean, at this point, you needed to go into Corviknight. You know, Iron Defense up like that, because it would have been forced out, you know? Claire switches out there knowing that it's a problem.
Yep.
He goes for an incredibly risky Dragapult switch, and that is all Claire needs to get one Dragon Dance, a Scale Shot, and, you know, the fire coverage is going to be plenty to kill a Corviknight from +1.
Yep.
So, great news for Claire. Back-to-back 6-0s. Awful news for Mass. All of the progress that he's been making over the last few weeks has effectively been immediately undone by taking a devastating 6-0 loss.
Yeah. No, definitely not what you want to see from Mass. Definitely what you do want to see from Claire, but, you know.
Yeah.
No one loves getting 6-0'd.
No, it sucks.
Yeah. It is rough, but you know, with that is this week's matches out of the way. Cody, do you wanna go from the top?
Oh, I'd be right happy to. All right, week 4 of the Violet Division. In first place, to nobody's surprise, we have got IDM of the Brussels Espeons at a 4-0 +11. In second place, we've got Claire at a 3-1 +12. So actually a higher differential because of those back-to-back 6-0s than IDM, who has been again winning his matches, but on a little bit more of a thin margin. Third place, we've got Aurora at a 3-1 plus 6, so it dips quite low as far as the differential is concerned. It's half the diff of Claire. And then in fourth, we have got Cabral, kind of almost inexplicably showing back up and making it to the top 4 at a 2-2 minus 1.
Yeah, no, the differential is kind of all over the place right now. We've got, in fifth place, Treasure Town Togetics, also 2-2, but with a differential of -6.
That drops down way lower.
Yep. Canadian Cottonees at sixth place with 1-3 with a differential of 0.
Which is an insane differential when you're 1-3. That means you're just insane.
Also insane that this is sixth place when fucking fourth and fifth have -1 and -6.
Yeah, your differential is the third best in the division, and you're in fucking, or well, actually it's the fourth best, but you're in sixth place.
Yeah. Then we've got Hartford Honchkrows 1-3 as well, but a differential of -3.
So, by the way, still a better diff than fifth, which is math at a 2-2 minus 6.
Yep, and then Schaumburg, Salamences, Woody, 0-4 with a differential of -19. Not the lowest diff of the season though.
It's tied, right? Isn't it?
No.
No.
Above that is
Oh yeah,
Crystal
Skittles is
Crucilius.
-20. Wow, no kidding.
Yep.
I thought it was 19. Yeah, that is a ridiculous spread of differential. It is all over the place. I mean, Woody has been making this division so weird. People have been winning and losing by just either insane 6-0, 5-0 wins, or these incredible nail-biter 1-2-0 victories. And it's really showing down the list, Woody being in play and these big sweeps happening, it's just so weird. It's my favorite thing about this right now is watching Cabral just randomly bumble up the leaderboard every week. Because we have watched him now go from last place to only over the course of 2 weeks now being a playoffs contender in Mass's stead.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that is kind of what Cabral does best. Is he finds a weird and interesting way to always climb up the ladder. Mm-hmm. Definitely one of the more creative players that we have in this draft league. Milo is also a player I'm definitely keeping an eye on right now. I know right now he is currently in sixth place, but he's been keeping it pretty competitive with almost every game he plays.
Yeah, and again, he's got a lot of hard ones early.
Yeah. Aside from that, I do fully expect, IDM and Aurora. Claire, I think she's in a pretty comfortable position. And I think now that she's starting to kind of hit a stride with her team, I do think she does have what it takes, but, I think time will tell with that one. I
mean, 6-0ing Mass is big money for Claire. That is huge, because before I was feeling a little shaky about her positioning, but now, back-to-back 6-0 is that's great. That's really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Ridiculous. You could stare at these numbers for an hour and still be confused about why they are the way that they are. They just swing so severely back and forth.
It just works.
It just works. So, yeah, I think the storyline going forward is can Cabral and Mass, cling on to these wins and keep their positioning? Or will they start backsliding as Milo starts fighting opponents that are a little more doable than IDM and Aurora, Does Milo have what it takes to not lose to people like Mass? He lost to Mass. Can he beat Jason? Can he maybe even beat Claire? He's still got his Woody match to do. So, I still think Milo, even though he's sitting in sixth, has, some good stuff going. I think Mass, even though he's in fifth, has a lot to lose right now. So, there's a lot to see. I think that if Cabral and Mass don't pull off some good upset of their own, we're going to start seeing Milo getting higher and higher, and they're going to get muscled out for fourth place.
Yeah. No, 100%.
But only time will tell. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us for the Double Dip Draft Violet Division recap series. Feel free to check out the companion video to this one, which is the Teal Division. Scarlet isn't real.
It's fake. We made it up.
It's fiction. It never happened.
This one was invented by a writer.
Yeah, pay no mind to the Scarlet Division Behind the Curtain. Go watch Teal. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to get back to you with Week 5 of the Violet Division. I would love to see where this goes.
Yeah, no, I'm on the edge of my seat. I want to see it all.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.